So here are a lot of things I wish I knew about sourcing before I started selling on Amazon. Hey, what's up everyone, Yaniv here, and if you don't know me or what we do here on the channel, basically what we do is we put out course level information for absolutely free for those of you who don't have enough money to invest in a program or are just not ready for that right now. And in this video, I'll go through a ton of stuff that I learned about sourcing by spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars on inventory and through trial and error, so you don't have to. So there's like 20 things on the list here, but we'll go through it quickly so there's no fluff or extra stuff in this video. So let's get right into it. All right, so the first thing you need to know is that there are trading companies and manufacturers. Not all suppliers are the same. A trading company is someone who's going to be kind of like a middleman. They're going to connect you, the customer, to the manufacturer who's going to actually make the products, and they're kind of just the middle person there. And a manufacturer is basically like going to the source. Now, number two is that a lot of people online and a lot of people just in general think trading companies are a really bad thing and that you never want to do business with them. But the truth is, a trading company can actually act like a sourcing agent for you in a lot of ways. Obviously, a trading company is going to be probably a little bit more expensive than going directly to the source and going straight to the manufacturer. But truthfully, if you do it the right way and you find a really good trading company in a niche or in a space that you're looking for, they can help you grow and scale on Amazon super quickly. A lot of the times manufacturers only specialize on a few set of products. So every time you want to go ahead and buy another product or extend your brand in a certain way, a manufacturer can't really do that for you, and you're stuck, going out to look for another one. Whereas a trading company, they'll be able to kind of go around and find the right manufacturer for each product in your brand. So while a lot of people don't want to do business with trading companies because it's like having another middleman, think of the value that you'll get from that as well. Also, trading companies usually, have lower minimum order quantities than manufacturers just because they're used to dealing with, smaller businesses. So if you're starting off, a trading company can be actually a really, really good thing. Number three, let's talk about finding the best supplier by name, right? If you're stuck on just going with a manufacturer and you do not want to work with a trading company, let me show you a way how to do that and also how to know what space your manufacturers actually specialize in. So right here, I typed in barbecue gloves, and a really cool thing that you can do is actually go through here and look at the naming strategies of the different companies. So a lot of people don't talk about this, but as you can see here, this one is called like Zhao Qing Lingli Safety Protection Articles Co. So the way that Chinese companies are actually structured is it's mandated to have your specialty in your name. So here, you can see it's fashion silicone products. So, they talk about, it's fashion silicone products, so that might not be the best thing for you there. Right here, you can see that it's talking about Zhengzhou We Care Glove Company, right? So maybe they specialize in gloves, and that might be something better for you if you're looking for something like barbecue gloves. A really bad example, and this is how you know it's actually not a supplier you want to work with, is where it says something like this, right? It says Suzhou Yougang Electronic Material Company. So why would an electronic material company be selling you, barbecue heat-resistant gloves? So it's obviously not a manufacturer you want to go with. Another thing you can do by just looking at the names of manufacturers is you can see a trading company just by the name. So this one is called, I'm not going to read that, but this is International Trade Co. A lot of times they also have like Import-Export Co., and that would mean that they're trading companies. Whereas right here, if we're looking at boxing gloves, it says, Sports Products Co., which means they specialize in sports products. Now let's move on to number four, which is actually evaluating your suppliers. Really easy and quick way. So obviously you want to do trade assurance and verified supplier. And then what you want to do is go into any company name. So if you just click on their names here, it goes to their company overview. So here's one I pulled up where, again, you can see really quickly if it's a trading company or not. You can see how many total employees are here, and you can go through their credentials and other products that they make. So this is a really good way to obviously see any certifications they have and just learn more about the company. Again, if it's something sketchy like this where there's there's no picture, there's no anything, it's probably not the best manufacturer to go with. Also, below 1 million in exports is kind of probably not your best bet. In this case, also you can see, the response time is hidden, the response rate is hidden. They say they're 51 to 100 people, but their annual revenue is less than $1 million. So it's really, it just doesn't add up. And that's how also you can evaluate a supplier really quickly. Just go to their page. Number five is actually to not be discouraged by minimum order quantities. A lot of the times they're very, very negotiable. Just because it says that they need 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 units does not mean that all the time. Sometimes it does, but a lot of times it doesn't. And basically, all you got to do is show them that you're serious. Talk to them, explain to them what you're looking to do and how you're looking to grow your business with them. And a really good way to show them that you're serious is just ordering a sample and seeing the quality. And if you're happy with it, a lot of the times they're a lot more negotiable on the minimum order quantities. So don't miss out on a really good manufacturer just because you're scared of their high MOQs. Number 6 is EXW versus FOB versus DDP. This one's actually a little bit more advanced, but basically what you want to do is when you're asking your manufacturer for a quote, don't just say, hey, can you quote me for this? Because there's a lot of different ways that they can quote you, right? FOB means they're going to bring the product to the freight, and then you have to deal with the freight forwarder, all that stuff. EXW means they don't even do that, and DDP means they're responsible for everything. So just asking them, to quote me, it kind of shows that you're a little bit inexperienced. Another great thing to do is actually get them to quote you in all three. So first ask for EXW. That way you know the true price of the actual products you're ordering. Then once they quote you that, be like, hey, actually, can you give me FOB as well? And then they're going to give you the FOB, and that's how much okay, so you have the EXW price, then you have the FOB price, and you can see how much they're charging you to bring it to the freight. After that, if you want to do DDP also, you can know again how much more expensive it is for DDP. Number 7, and you might know this if you've done any amount of sourcing from China, but Chinese New Year's is coming up. Chinese New Year's is around in February, and basically what happens is they get super backed up, and then for about a month, they're completely closed. So if you don't plan your inventory accordingly, you will literally get stuck for maybe 2 or 3 months without any inventory. So make sure before Chinese New Year actually does hit that you get a ton of units for all your different products and SKUs, and so that you can actually stay in inventory for the next 2 to 3 months, because during that time they also get backed up. So when they come back to work, there's a ton of orders to fulfill, and they obviously start off with people that are bringing them in the most money, and then they're going to trickle down to you with your little orders later on. So you could be out for a long time. Make sure you plan for this in your inventory forecasting. Number 8 is actually how to pay your manufacturers correctly. A lot of the time manufacturers like to do something called wire transfers. In the past, this was a little bit sketchy because there's really no way to get your money refunded to you if something goes wrong or if they scam you. So nowadays there's Alibaba Trade Assurance, and they kind of are the intermediary there to make sure that the suppliers are actually fulfilling on their promises. But you also need to remember that, that's just one option to pay with. Another option is PayPal. A lot of the times they don't want to use PayPal because PayPal actually favors you much more. But if you offer to cover the PayPal fees, which is about 4%, a lot of the times they will take your PayPal offer and accept payments through PayPal. Always pay through either PayPal or Alibaba Trade Assurance. Nothing else. Now, if you got any value from this video so far, please drop a like. It really does help out the channel, and the support on the channel has been crazy recently. In the past week, we've posted some videos, and I'll just put them up here on the screen. The likes have been crazy. I think last time I had a challenge out was for like 75 likes or 70 likes in 24 hours, and we got like well over 100 or something like 120 in 24 hours. So let's do 80 likes in 24 hours for this video. If you guys got any value from this, drop a like. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm, and just shows your support, so that makes me want to put out more videos like this and put more effort in these videos to help you guys out as much as I can. Thanks again for the support, and now let's move on to number 9, which is 1688.com. Many of you guys may know this, but basically it's just a way to make sure that your suppliers aren't trying to pull one over on you. It is the exact same thing as Alibaba, but it is for locals in China. So what you want to do is just use English to Chinese simplified translations, search it up in the 1688.com in Chinese, and then you can really quickly look through the prices and convert that from yuan to USD to make sure that the prices that you're getting are somewhat similar to what it is on 1688. If they are drastically different, you know that your supplier is trying to pull one over on you and you're not getting a good price. Number 10, which is it's actually really easy to source from outside of China. A lot of people just think that China is the best place to source from in general, and for a lot of things it actually is, but with the rising tariff prices for a lot of goods from China, it actually may be even cheaper to go to someplace like the US or Pakistan or Vietnam, depending on which product you're selling. A lot of these different countries specialize in different materials and products. For example, if you're sourcing anything like boxing equipment or boxing gloves, stuff like that, actually Pakistan is a really good place for that. Whereas if you're doing stuff like textiles and things like that, Vietnam or these other places could be a really good opportunity for you there as well. Number 11, if you do decide actually to source from China and you're stuck on that, remember that it's actually really easy also to get your orders customized. Obviously, you're going to need a little bit bigger of an MOQ, but it's really easy to ask for them to change things for you in the product. The only thing is you need to show them exactly what you want and what materials it's made out of. A lot of people don't know that and don't look into that and use Alibaba or Chinese suppliers as kind of like a catalog to shop from, but a lot of the times you can really customize and change things just by putting in a little bit of work. Number 12 is that China does not care about patents. So if you find a product on Amazon, you're like, wow, this is doing so well, you go straight to China and you can buy it from China, that does not mean that it's not patented. I've actually had a story like this in the past, and maybe I'll share with you guys again here on the channel, like an updated version if you guys want to hear that, because when I posted that last time, it didn't get a lot of views because the channel was a lot smaller. But basically, China doesn't care about patents. They don't care about intellectual property, and if they can profit from it, they will sell it to you. Number 13, which actually has to do a little bit with customizing your products, but if you didn't know this, what you can do is actually find a product you want to make and buy it and then send it in to China. A lot of the times, even if it isn't on Alibaba or you don't know how to source it, if you send the product into the actual manufacturer, a lot of the times they can reverse engineer it and actually create that product for you for a very good price. Now, whether that's unethical or not is a different story, but a lot of people do this, and that's how a lot of people get kind of custom orders made. It's also not that expensive, and a lot of top sellers actually do that. On that same note though, please remember to get the product patent checked, because a lot of the times they'll recreate it for you, but again, like I mentioned about the patents, it might be patented. So before you do it, make sure to get that patent search done. Number 14 is actually a pretty simple one, but it's very, very important. You never want to be the decision maker when you're talking to Chinese employees, right? A lot of the times you are going to be the boss, but you can't let them know that. Basically, a lot of the people who work in China are obviously employees, and they can't relate to being the boss. So whenever something happens and you want to negotiate with price, you want to be as if you're an employee of your boss who's telling you all these things that you can't do or you can't spend on the products. So use this as a negotiation technique. It's just something that makes negotiating a lot easier if you're not the decision maker, if you're just kind of someone that's working for a boss. Number 15 is to make sure that you ask for the manufacturer to quote you more units than what you need. So for example, if you need 500 units, you ask them to quote you for 500, 1,000, and then maybe 2,000 or 2,500 units. And the reason you want to do this is because you want to make sure that, one, you know exactly how much the products will cost you down the road. If you do decide to buy 2,500 units, you can make sure that you're not going to be paying the same price for 2,500 as you pay for 500, because obviously the more quantity, the cheaper it should be. But also for a first order, what you want to do is you want to try and get that 2,500 price or the high quantity price for your first order. That's kind of a really good way to negotiate. Rather than just trying to negotiate on, let's say, asking for 500 and just trying to negotiate down from there, it gives you a really good gauge on how low they can really go for products like this. So the way you know if you got a good deal is if you got the $2,500 price for the $500 quantity. So those are the two reasons you want to ask for more than what you need. Number 16, which is really, really powerful, is to make sure that before you actually place your order, you get your manufacturer to write you in the contract. The reason you don't want to do that is because if you write down the contract and you say everything you need, the manufacturer may not understand or had a misunderstanding in the past with you when you guys were talking, and won't really understand what needs to be delivered. However, if you get the manufacturer to write over the contract and to send it to you with everything that you guys talked about, you can make sure that first of all, they understand exactly what it is that you want, and second of all, that there's going to be no miscommunications later on. And third thing is that you just don't have to do it yourself, which saves you time. Now, before we move on to the next thing, about 65% of people who watch these videos and this channel aren't subscribed. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on future videos and all the valuable content that we do try to bring here. Like I said, it's course level information for free on the channel. So make sure to subscribe, because you don't want to miss these strategies and tactics. And also you'll get notified every time I do post a video so that you can implement the strategies right away. And side note, we do have a really big launch strategy video coming out very, very soon. I'm still working on it, but yeah, subscribe so you don't miss that. It's going to be better than like 99% of the launch strategies from other courses that are thousands and thousands of dollars. Now let's move on to the next tip, which is add your supplier on WeChat. So if you don't have WeChat, get WeChat. Basically, it's the way that all these Chinese manufacturers actually communicate. And if you can talk to them on WeChat, one, they makes them more comfortable. And two, it's an instant messenger, so you don't have to go back and forth like on Alibaba. You'll actually be able to talk to them, get to know them, and then also obviously order from them. That way they know that you're, again, a lot more serious because you're willing to use their technologies, and it makes them a lot more comfortable with you as well. WhatsApp is banned in China, so WeChat is kind of like their WhatsApp. The next thing here is do not negotiate too much with your suppliers. You can know by comparing prices from different suppliers whether or not they're trying to pull one over on you. But if you continue to try to squeeze every penny out of your suppliers, what's going to happen is that your products are going to be very, very bad quality. And they're not doing this as a spiteful thing to you. What they're doing is they're trying to give you everything that you want. If you want the price for the product to be that cheap, they need to kind of cut some corners to make sure that you're happy. That's the way that they see it. They're not trying to pull one over on you or anything like that. They just truly want to make sure that they can fulfill whatever you need. And if you need it at that price, they'll make sure it's at that price, but they're not going to sacrifice their profits to do that. So truthfully, they think that they're actually doing you a favor by getting the price that low. But what you might not know is that the quality is also a lot lower than it should be. And that's obviously going to lead to bad reviews and just not a sustainable business for the future. So now that you've made it to the end of the video, obviously you're super serious about starting this business or growing and scaling it. And if you want someone to be able to ask questions to or work with directly, right now what I have is actually a link in the description. You can click it and check it out. And it's actually my brand new Ecom Limitless program, which comes right now with my one-on-one mentorship. So you'll be able to work with me, talk with me, and make sure that you're doing everything the right way the first time. Again, if you can't afford the program or anything like that, that's totally fine. What we do here, like I said, is we put out course level information for free. But if you do want to take it to the next level and work with me directly, that's always an option. Thank you guys for the support, and thank you for watching this video, liking and subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one.